down to the inside. But around the outside, much deeper. Nearly spins. Contact. Side by side here. Wins on his second outing. The hoop spins.
Yo, what's good, everybody? We're back with the cup. It's round 7, and we're at Spain, Barcelona, de Catalunya. And it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, this track is going to be updated in the future. Obviously, they're going to cut out that whole chicane in the final sector, which will make things a little bit better for racing. Until now, we've got this one, and first out the pits, we've got Casper Sky for Amethyst. Now, what are you expecting from these guys on this track, Adam?
Well, you know, it's an interesting track. You know, there's a lot of fast corners, so you want a little bit of downforce. You know, a corner like turn 3, maybe turn 9, turn 16. You want some downforce, but you also have pretty long straights. You know, between turn 16 and 1 is an immensely long straight, and then between turns 9 and 10 is an equally long straight. So you want a good mix between high downforce for the fast speed corners and low downforce for the long straightaways.
Yeah, it's true. Obviously, straight is not as long compared to other tracks, and yeah, more downforce is definitely going to be needed. Setup. But obviously, the lower, the higher you go, the less overtaking you'll be able to do. So that straight line speed. Here we go. Casper Sky about to start his first qualifying lap of the day.
As Casper Sky begins his lap, the RL machine dives into turn 1 using a little bit of that curb on the entry. Interesting line on the entry through turn 3. Purple ARL machine. Doing a good job so far in the first set. Oh, he's a little close to that grass there in the exit to turn 4. He's doing a good job in this first sector so far.
You guys are wondering what is going on with the VRL drivers. They are suffering a qualifying ban each. The stewards were not messing around last race, so both are gonna be starting from the back today's race.
Oh, around he goes.
Yeah, difficult traction zone that, and that's this qualifying lap done and dusted.
That is definitely a difficult section. You've got the shift from turn 10 to turn 11, maybe a little shift in the banking. There's a couple little bumps there. It can definitely catch you out if you're not paying attention as we watch Antonio through turn number 9. Tavian Ursu around turn 16 up to the line. 1:16.7 isn't too bad from the 10 controls machine. Antonio through turns 11 and 12 now. Trying to keep off those sausage curbs. Thomas Venk comes in with a 16.9. Lifebat with a 16.8. Antonio around the final corner up to the line. The 16.8. Everybody kind of in the same time bracket here, except Ghost coming in with a 1:39.6.
That time's probably been because he's had to back out. Probably going again.
Yes.
And the Dynamo
Yes.
tier, Antonio's teammate, puts in a 16.746, only 6 thousandths behind Octavian, as Tim Verhoeven goes to the top of the timing board for VF1. Lewis Player's about to cross the line. He's going to put in no time because he's just starting one. Or I believe he's invalidated it. Yeah, he's no ERS.
His battery's dead. And then Raybach now through turn 12, trying to keep off those sausage carbs. Through 14 and 15. Good run so far for Lennon Raybach around the final corner up to the line. And that is most certainly a banker lap from the XPG esports machine.
It's in Verhoeven. That's his first race for VF1. And not doing too bad out there. Top of the time board so far. And VF1 didn't have the luckiest of races last time out. Obviously, they showed some good pace. And then just couldn't manage to track the points.
No, they ran well last week with Anthony and Jordan. They ran well, just couldn't finish it out.
Lennon Raybach's on an improvement here on his second lap. Obviously, the first one was more of a second out lap. It was only 3 seconds off, or 2 seconds off of the guys at the front. And he's going to be out of the final corner. That's turn 14 onto the main straight. DRS open. He's going to cross the line. We're going to put in a 17.8. But JP's lost it there.
Yeah. Teammate Gloomy through turn 3. Blue and black OGK machine works its way through sector 1 with a 22.1. Goes purple in the first sector. This is his first flying lap through turn 5. Can Gloomy slot himself on top? Through 8 and 9, he's got a good run coming so far. He'll get a little bit of slipstream from his teammate. Maybe this is a team play. DRS through turn 10. Gloomy on a fantastic lap so far. He didn't get caught out by the terrain change through 11 and 12. Looking like a pretty decent lap. He'll come around turn 16. Open DRS. Up to the line. That's a 17.5.
That's exactly what we want to see. The cover's a team game. And you see OG Crow definitely playing the team game there. Casper Sky, he's about to finish his lap. It's going to put him up to P6, a 16.9. You can see that's where the competitive times are at. 16s. And I think it's going to be quite a shootout. It's going to be this close throughout the whole session. And then these guys are going to have to really maximize as much time as they can.
Certainly it looks close so far. Thomas Vink through turn number 4. Got a little traffic ahead, one of the ARL machines. It is Casper Sky in front of Thomas Vink. He's also got Dallin McTeer and Octavian Ursu behind him. McTeer will pull off to the side. Let Ursu through, so the 10 controls cars back to back. Maybe Vink is going to try and give Ursu a little bit of a slipstream out of turn 10. Vink through turn 14 and 15. Around the final corner. See if the 10 controls driver can put himself on top. Previous lap was a 16.9. Aryan, take us through this lap.
You go through turn 1 and turn 2 now. 5th gear, take a lot of curb. You've got to miss out that sausage curb there because it will really unsettle the curb. You see, Thomas Vink got close to it, just not on it, and that is perfect. Right on the limit. Now, coming up to this next right-hander, watch the traction. You want to go out wide, but not too wide as you go over the grass. You see Thomas Vink managed to do that very nicely, and he's purple through the first sector, so he's on an improvement. We don't know if that actually is a fastest sector time so far, Next left-hander, 5th gear, try and carry as much speed. Watch the yellow curb on the outside. Now, small lift through here. Wash out wide onto the curb for the exit. And DRS open for the first time this lap. You see he's going to cross the timing board for the second sector. He's 3/10 up. So this is a major improvement for Thomas Vink. Watch the traction now for these next set of corners. 5th gear for the extra traction onto the exit curb, right on the limit of track limits. Final corner now. Watch the yellow sausage curbs as he's done throughout the whole time. And it looks like he's managed to keep it clean and on track. Thomas Vink. What's his time going to be? He's going to cross the line. It's going to be a 16.5. That is going to be provisional pole. Mellon behind. He's going to cross the line. And it's going to be a 16.6. So it's front row for both the 10 controls drivers. Dallin McTeer has lost it there in the final sector. And he's going to box.
As we watch Antonio down this back straightaway, DRS wide open into turn 10. He's 0.03 of a second up. He goes purple through the middle sector. Lifebout across the line. Lifebout. I believe he had a spin in turn 9. I think he was coming out of turn 9. We watch Antonio through the final corner. NSR machine will improve by 1/10 of a second up to 5th. So it's a 10 controls 1, 2, followed by VF1's Tim Verhoeven. And then NSR 4 and 5 with Dallin McTeer and Antonio Brancati. As we watch Lifebout, that golden red APPF1 car through turn number 9. Just a little bit of curb on the exit. Let's see what the sector 2 time is. He's 1/10 of a second down, so if he wants to challenge for pole, he's definitely going to have to find some time in the final sectors. We watched Tim Verhoeven through turn 3. White and blue VF1 car through turn 4. He took a little bit less wide of an exit than we've seen other people have. Verhoeven through turns 8 and 9. Oh, I was gonna say he got a little squirrely on the exit, but he got a lot squirrely on the exit, and the back end just came around on him.
I mean, it looked like a very good time there. He was carrying a lot of speed for the corners. We see for turn 9, that is just a bit too much.
It's pretty easy to do with the elevation changes here. Gotta make sure you keep the back end happy. And then Raybach through turns 13, 14, and 15. The chicane, staying off the sausage curbs around the final corner. Up to the line. And it's a 22-0, so obviously he had to slow down at some point in that lap.
He's definitely starting this lap for real now. He's opted for a second out lap. Well, drivers like to do that to burn the fuel off a little bit, since you're not really given a lot of leeway in this game to lower the fuel. Sometimes on some tracks it gives you just way too much. That's why some guys go for a second out lap.
You also want to make sure those soft tires are in the window of operation. As it seems to be with Lynn and Raybach, he got a little bit happy out of turn 8. Down the back straightaway. DRS open, using a ton of ERS. He's almost out of ERS as the back end just a little snappy through turn 10. Still, I don't know what's wrong with the rear of that car, but it just wants to swap ends on him through the final couple of corners, and he knows this isn't a good lap.
Yeah, understandable. He's lost the rear too many times. That lap had to be aborted.
We Get ready to watch Gloomy. Through turn 13. OGK car. Dark blue and black through the final corner. Down the main straightaway, DRS wide open. He begins his lap. I always like that scoring pylon there at the end of the pit lane.
Yeah, it's
So
fun
I
as you
wish-
see all the order.
I wish Codemasters would code in like the actual numbers. So, like you could see where people are running. As Gloomy through turn 5, keeping it nice and tidy on the exit. Down the hill into turn 7 and 8. Staying off those sausage curbs nicely. This is a good lap so far for Gloomy. Out of turn 9, DRS open into turn 10. We'll get the sector 2 time. He's a 10th of a second up. He does have quite a ways to go. He's a second off the pace. Is Casper Sky in some trouble? So I had to go for a lawn mowing adventure at the exit of turn 5. Gloomy through the final corner.
He's giving
Orange
his
helmet.
to his teammate.
He is getting a little bit of a... that's a good call. I don't know that I would have noticed that. He needs to pull out of the way, though. He does. There's Piper out of the final corner beginning his lap. Octavian Ursu just starting to warm up the tires for his final lap. 50 seconds to go here in Spain. Qualifying for round 7. Lewis Piper through turn 3. Casper Sky has retired in the pit lane, I believe, so it won't affect these drivers. A 21-8 through the first sector for Lewis Piper, and around he goes into the wall.
That is unfortunate. He was pushing. He needed a time on the board, so should have been a little bit under the limit there. Octavian Ursu, though, is nearly a 10th up. Thomas Vink just about to cross the line to start his final qualifying lap 2. Lifeboat's improved to a 0.6. So he's currently sitting in second on the front row. Tim Verhoeven is just in the middle sector now. Antonio Brancati's the 10th up.
Antonio's gonna need a tiny bit more than a 10th if he can discover some time here in this final sector. It could put him on pole position through turns 14 and 15. Green and red NSR car around the final corner. Up to the line. What's the time for the Italian? It's provisional pole position. Octavian Ursu up to the line. He'll take provisional pole position. Now the pressure is on Thomas Vink.
It's 4 attempts down.
Oh, and around he goes. Tim Verhoeven to the top. Alan McTeer across the line. His time's only good enough for 5th. But it looks like that's how we will start. Tim Verhoeven at the top. Octavian Ursu 2nd. Antonio Brancati 3rd. Thomas Vink 4th. Dallin McTeer in 5th.
Super close out there. You see only 400ths between Tim and Octavian. Antonio sitting behind in P3, only a 10th behind. Thomas Vink didn't manage to complete that final lap that he needed.
There you can see the final qualifying results. Tim Verhoeven up at the top, the Swede. Takes pole position in Spain. Octavian Ursu 2nd. Antonio Brancati 3rd. Thomas Vink 4th. Dallin McTeer in 5th.
Why doesn't he do this in 10 controls? What? That's funny. A lot of pace there from Tim Verhoeven showing.
Absolutely. It was 4/100ths of a second.
We're going to see what the VRL guys are going to be able to do from last.
Obviously, not grid place penalties, but qualifying bans for those two drivers.
Yeah.
Get ready to go here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. In the eastern part of Spain. Near the Mediterranean Sea, I believe.
I have no clue. It's near one of the seas, for sure.
It is, I think it's closer to the Mediterranean. Place where Max Verstappen got his first Formula One win in 2016. After the Mercedes cars took each other out. Able to duel with Kimi Räikkönen. And he claimed victory here in Spain. And somebody will get to put their name alongside Max Verstappen as winners at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, as we get ready to go to the grid here for round 7 from Spain. Cars are on the grid. You go to 5 red lights. Tim Verhoeven on pole. Red lights are out, and we are underway here in Spain. Verhoeven got a fantastic start. Octavian Ursu will fall in line behind him. Ursu to the outside in turn 1. They'll go 3 wide farther back. Ursu to the inside through 2. He'll choose to back out, but that allows Antonio Brancati to jump alongside. Gloomy spins at the back. He will fall all the way down to 14th as Lifeboat around Dallin McTeer in turn number 4. Everybody nice and neat so far. They'll fall into a line as JP under threat from Casper Sky. Now we've got a car around at the back. That's Super Gaming onto the grass. He'll reset to track. Casper Sky battling with Ghost for 8th. Ghost will take that position, and the ARL cars back to 9th and 10th. Down the back straightaway they go. Tim Verhoeven the leader, Octavian Ursu 2nd, Antonio Brancati 3rd, Thomas Vink 4th, and Lifeboat rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, Tim Verhoeven, great start there. What's happened to Ghost? He's lost it in the final sector on the first lap. It's unfortunate. No need to push your limits out there. Obviously, super close margins. Any mistake like that is going to drop you way out of contention in this race. Looks like Gloomy there has managed to get past in and Raybok on the exit on the straight.
That was the exit of turn 12 that he lost the car in. Tim Verhoeven scooted away a tiny bit from Octavian Ursu. Through turn 4, JP's going to go to the inside of Dallin McTeer. That NSR car seems to be going backwards in a hurry. He's now lost spots to Lifeboat and JP, and Lewis Piper is right on his rear end.
Yeah, we have to wonder, does Dallin, has he picked up some kind of damage or something as Ghost there lost it again?
Lewis Piper beginning to stalk Dallin McTeer through turn 10. He's not close enough to make a move yet. Lewis Piper up 4 positions off the start. He's going to try and get around the NSR car so that he can start chasing the top 5. Tim Verhoeven, fastest lap of the race. Lyndon Raybach, a 3-second time penalty. JP also up 3 positions from the start. Super Gaming tops the fastest lap of the race. Andre Mahach will get Lennon Raybach into turn 1. We've got a yellow flag. It's lifeboat around, and the APP F1 cars really are not having a fun time so far today.
Yeah, both those guys out now. Gloomy was trying to have a look there on Lewis Piper, but didn't manage to make the move stick. But these guys need to bear in mind the race is long, and any unnecessary risks taken now, well, they're unnecessary. Oh, there's Octavian!
Oh, there goes Octavian! Octavian got on the curb at the exit of turn 9, and the back end just came around on him, and he will fall all the way down to 10th. He's now under pressure from Gloomy and Super Gaming, so he lost the rear end, and immediately people are they're swarming like sharks back here in the midfield. Gloomy and Super Gaming trying to track him down, as Octavian running right behind Lennon Raybach. Thomas Vink will get around Antonio Brancati for second. So now Thomas Vink, a lone 10 controls car on the podium.
Tim Verhoeven's quite comfortable now. He has not got any threat from behind because Thomas Vink does not have DRS. Then Raybach, he's lost it into the barriers. What is going on? That is not a full safety car, it's a virtual safety car.
Those yellow APP F1 cars always trick me out.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It looks like there's
it was
a
right in a
car.
perfect position as well.
Yeah. Virtual safety car. Tim Verhoeven, the race leader. Thomas Vink running second. Antonio running third. JP running fourth. Dallin McTeer running fifth. The complete lap number 4 of 33 here in Spain.
Now, as much as these guys are rivals on track, they're going to have to work together here because them fighting is just going to hurt their chances of catching up to Tim.
Absolutely. DRS has been enabled. We are back to green flag racing. Antonio and Thomas Vink trying to chase down the leader. Thomas Vink almost did exactly what Octavian did on the previous lap. Antonio's going to draft up to Vink. He's going to go around the inside as JP closes in. JP to the outside of Thomas Vink in turn number 1. He can't get the move done. He tried the switchback, thought better of it, and he'll fall back into line in 4th.
JP's done a masterful job here. He's up 5 spots since the start, and Lennon Raybach is going to retire in the pits.
Certainly a tough day for Lennon Raybach. He was in the wall multiple times. Really a disappointing day for him. Back to the race now. Super Gaming trying to chase down Gloomy. Super Gaming just gets a little loose through turn 7. Had to correct that. Cost him a tiny bit of time. He's got DRS. He feints to the inside. Now to the outside in turn 10. He'll try the switch back out at turn 10. Side by side they go through 11 and 12. Super Gaming on the outside of Gloomy. And Super Gaming's got the move done.
Yeah, finally he's got past Gloomy there. And Tim Verhoeven out front looking strong. Sets the fastest lap once again.
Lewis Piper will take that fastest lap as Tim Verhoeven 1.8 seconds out in front of Antonio. Octavian Ursu to the inside of Andre Mahatch through turn 2. He tried to slam the door. Andre said not so fast, but Octavian Ursu will pull away through turn 3. Octavian down 6 positions after that spin in turn 9. We watch Thomas Vink currently running 3rd behind Antonio. He's got JP just behind him well, not quite sure what happened there. It looked like Antonio had run wide, but apparently he didn't.
I think my internet fired there for a second. I think we're good now. Am I good now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
Yes.
You guys, no, you didn't see anything.
No, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Well, it's going to be a difficult job for Octavio now. He needs to catch 7/10 to catch up to the train ahead. Obviously, Lewis and Castro next to each other, not going to make it too easy. As he sets the fastest lap of the race now, as you see, he does have pace. Octavio
He
is about 2 tenths on Tim Verhoeven there with the fastest lap.
does certainly have the pace. Question is going to be getting through this train of cars. It's a big old DRS train, spanning from Antonio all the way back to Lewis Piper. As we watch Thomas Vink maybe beginning to struggle under traction. We saw a little bit of a flick of the wheel through turn 5. Antonio up ahead seems to be pretty safe. We run lap number 7 in Spain. JP just behind Thomas Vink, trying to reel him in. But up front, Tim Verhoeven leads by 5.5 seconds. Alan McTeer, the second of the NSR cars. What does Dallin McTeer have to do to get to the front?
Well, I think he's been unlucky with strategy a couple times before. Now he's had a, couple double stacks. So I think you're gonna need to nail that this time round. Maybe you try and go for a pit stop when no one else is around to avoid that from happening. And other than that, he just needs to stay in this train and not make any mistakes. Obviously, him and his teammate Antonio doing the best out of all the teams so far.
They are certainly both in the top 5, which makes them better than just about every other team. 10 Controls is the ARL's could be the second best team. 10 Controls is the third best team as it stands right now on points. Thomas Vink continuing to trundle around in third. This track's certainly not known for passing, and we're seeing that today.
Yeah, currently the gap is kind of staying stable out there between Antonio and Tim. He's trying his best to catch up, but at least he's not sailing away off into the distance.
No, he's not sailing off into the distance as Gloomy is around at the exit of turn 16, and it goes from bad to worst for the OGK driver. He spun off the start, which dropped him down some positions, and then spinning in turn 16 drops him all the way down to 12th. Up front, though, it's a picture-perfect day for Tim Verhoeven. Through 9 laps, he's done everything he's needed to do. He's had a little bit of luck. His main competitor, Octavian Ursu, spun in turn 9 at about lap 3, which has allowed him to have a 1.4 second gap over Antonio, the next closest car, followed by Thomas Vink, JP, and Dallin McTeer.
Oh, what's happened? Casper Sky is out. He's lost it there in the final sector, and that is a full safety car. Unfortunate. Amethyst. Unforced error there. Again. Is anyone going to decide to box it? It looks like there is. Octavian Ursu, he's going to be in. It's a long distance to take those mediums. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. I can look left and right.
Do what? Oh.
Can
you look behind?
I can look behind, yeah. That I
Okay.
did know.
Okay. Lewis Piper, Octavian Ursu, Andre Mahatch, all out on those medium tires. Gloomy also in. If if I had to guess, I'd say these guys are going for a 2-stop.
I mean, it's 23 laps. Well, 22 proper ones, 21. I'm not sure what the wear is like at Spain. Maybe they might be able to take it a distance. Maybe Octavian's going to be able to do what Thomas did to him yesterday and just hang it out for the whole race.
He might be able to do it. It'd be interesting to listen into the team communications and see what the thinking is. Tim Verhoeven's still the race leader. Let's see what Verhoeven does. Will he respond to Piper and Ursu? Boxing for mediums. Certainly slowing down. He will not box. Thomas Vink will. So Thomas Vink is in. Alan McTeer will follow. JP also in. Super Gaming will come in. I assume this means Lifebout. Lifebout will stay out. Oh no, Lifebout is in as well. So an interesting strategy. Ariane, if you could talk me through this. Ooh.
I didn't see the safety car there.
If you could talk me through this proposed strategy from everybody except the top 2.
Well, it looks like the front 2 have been hung out to dry. You see, everyone there has reacted to Octavian and Andre, I believe it was, going on to the mediums. Now, the script has kind of been flipped, because those guys at the front, they're going to have to box again. And I think the rest of the field will be able to make it the rest of the race. But right now, Thomas Vink, again, the master strategist. He's looking at net P1.
So, I mean, I know you. Well, you've probably raced here a few times. How tough is it going to be to make these medium tires last 23 laps?
Well, it depends what position you're in. Oh, Andre's gone off track there. Yeah, I mean, if you're the guy ahead right now, you're looking at Thomas Vink. He's the leader of this train. He's the one who's going to be able to dictate the pace, and he's the one who's going to be forced to make decisions whether to try and go for these overtakes ahead or to hold back. And I think he's going to be the one probably working out the tires more than the rest, because the rest can just sort of chill, use the DRS to be able to extend the length of their tires, not push as hard. And yeah.
So if you're Antonio or Tim up ahead, what are you trying to do on this restart? Are you trying to go out and run qualifying laps and just run as hard as possible?
Well, if you're one of these front 2, you just have to double down on whether we don't know yet if it's a delusion or if it's the right call. Stay out on these tires and think that they're on the right strategy. And try and extend, I think, the life of the tires as much as possible so that their final stint, they can use the new tires to their maximum capability and maximize the amount of time they can gain. Yeah, Lewis Piper was boxed for new hards as well.
I wonder if this is a 2-stop.
See, he's, I think, probably in one of the better positions, Lewis, because his tires are going to definitely last the end of the race. And he's not going to be at any risk that these guys at the front are. And as we near the end of the race, he's only going to get faster and faster compared to these lot.
So my thinking would be that Vink and JP are on a 2-stop, and they'll box again for mediums. They'll try and get around Antonio and Tim because at this point,
Oh, we got some action. Well, we were just
Wonder-
praising Lewis, and then he just changed his mind again.
I would think all these guys are on 2 stops. That's a strange double stack. You see one crew working on the APPF1 car and the other one working on Lewis Piper.
I think he should have just stuck with it, man. I don't know why he changed his mind.
I think he should have stuck with it too. I mean, I think it
his
would have
own
been
his own team's Twitch was in chat saying it was a good strategy, and then he changed his mind. So I don't know.
well, Gloomy is still out there on the hards.
Yeah, Gloommy's
So
on
we
the
do
odds.
have, yeah. But I think it would have been a fantastic strategy.
Yeah, I think he's just going with the group mentality.
So right now, I think my opinion is that Thomas Vink and JP are on a 2-stop, and they're going to try and get by Verhoeven and Antonio as quick as possible. And then at that point, both Verhoeven and Antonio still have one more stop to go onto mediums. And then Venk and JP both have 1 stop to go onto mediums. So it might be a pretty good strategy call, assuming Gloomy doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys in the
wholesome
mediums, they're just
hero.
gonna probably react to what the rest do, because it's unknown territory. And, you know, if we see Thomas Vink box, the rest are probably gonna react. And if he doesn't, they're probably gonna try and hang it out too. That's if it doesn't get really bad.
So Tim Verhoeven will lead us to the green. He's on 12 lap old hards. Antonio also on 12 lap old hards. Everybody behind him on mediums except for Gloomy. Verhoeven really slowing everybody down. They're slowing him down to a snail's pace, trying to get a jump on him. He got the jump on Antonio. Antonio didn't get as much of a jump on Thomas Vink. Down the main straightaway they go. Vink closing in on Antonio. He's not going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1. Everybody single file. Vink trying to find a way around Antonio. He'll go the long way around in turn 3. He couldn't keep it together. Tim Verhoeven got way loose in turn 3. He had to correct onto the AstroTurf as Gloomy falls back on those hard tires. Lewis Piper falling back. Thomas Vink to the outside of Antonio in turn 5. He's got the long way around and he's got the position to move the 10 controls car up to 2nd, as now he begins to set his sights on Tim Verhoeven for the race lead. Oh, we've got a car around at the back. That's Lifeboat. 1 car into the gravel is Lewis Piper. And it's all kicking off. Lewis Piper is out of the race. He's retired from the session. As Octavian Ursu's trying to go around the outside of JP. JP will force him onto the AstroTurf. But up front, it's Thomas Vink right in the tire tracks of Tim Verhoeven. Through turn 15, around the final corner, Vink's going to have ERS and the slipstream. He's closing. He's closing. Verhoeven will protect to the inside. Vink will dart to the outside. Down the main straightaway. Vink switches back to the inside. Verhoeven shut the door in turn 1. Contact between JP and Dallin McTeer. JP, it looks like, tried to close the door on McTeer. McTeer was too far alongside. They'll battle side by side out of turn 4 as Octavian Ursu tries to find a way around him. He'll go to the inside of turn 4. Now the outside of turn 5. Octavian Ursu trying to work his way back up the field. Side by side out of turn 5. Dallin McTeer's got the preferred line through the next set of corners. He will shut the door on Octavian Ursu. And Octavian's going to lose a position to JP in the process.
Yeah, Dallin forced him off then. Here comes Super Gaming on Octavia. Now he's got the run on him. He's going to try around the outside into turn, and looks like he's got the traction down. He's going to have the inside now for the next corner. They're still side by side. But it looks like Super Gaming is going to have to lift out of there. Octavian on traction. He's lost it.
That's the second time we've seen him do that today. As back up front, his teammate got way loose in turn 16. Big snap of oversteer. Vink not close enough to capitalize. on his new mediums as we run down the main straightaway. Had Vink not had that huge snap of oversteer, he would have absolutely used the slipstream in the ERS to get by Tim Verhoeven. But for right now, he's got to sit behind the race leader as they head through turn 4. Lumi back there in 10th on those hard tires. Doesn't look like the strategy's quite working for him. He's fallen too far back. He's really got to pick up the pace if he wants to challenge for the race lead late in this race by staying out. It looks like Vink's closing in. Dallin McTeer off the track. He'll fall all the way to 7th at the exit of turn 8 that he went off. McTeer's under pressure now from Ghost. Ghost to the inside in turn 10. Side by side, Ghost is going to force him wide onto the AstroTurf, and Ghost has the position. Back up front, Thomas Vink right in the tire tracks of Verhoeven out of the final corner. Vink doesn't get loose this time. He'll use DRS and ERS to close in on Tim Verhoeven. Vink to the outside, almost onto the grass. Verhoeven forced him onto the grass, but Thomas Vink is through and into the race lead as Andre Mahatch runs the fastest lap of the race.
There he goes into the lead. Now Thomas Vink's goal, he's got past Tim now, is to try and coax these tires to the end as he did yesterday in Tier A. But this time the track is different, the conditions are different, the tires are different. And we're going to have to see, is he going to be able to go the distance, or is he going to have to make another stop?
Andre Mahatch now running in 6th. Behind his teammate Super Gaming, these VRL cars have done a fantastic job to make their way up through the field from the back. As up front, Thomas Vink stretching his legs just a little bit. He's got a second gap to Tim Verhoeven already as JP begins to stalk Antonio for 3rd. The medium tires really working well. Thomas Vink fastest lap of the race at a 19.4. Looks like this might be the right strategy call from these guys.
Yeah, the medium's looking fast right now, but the question is, will they last? Super Gaming right now all over JP.
I don't know that they have to last. If
they're going for a two-stop.
If Verhoeven and Antonio have to pit, I would think Vink would pit as well, and everybody behind him. I mean, I don't know that you could take these medium tires the length that they need to take them as Super Gaming closing in on JP. The VRL cars, as previously stated, have done a fantastic job working their way up through the field. JP currently in 4th.
I mean, if we think about it, sorry to cut you off. There's not many laps.
No,
We've already gone through half the race, and you see Antonio. He's gonna have to stop now. Tim Verhoeven probably the next lap will stop. Those guys on the hards, Antonio and Tim, they can stop now with pretty much no risks. But the guys up ahead on the mediums, if they stop, they don't have a lot of laps to try and gain that pit stop time back. So I think we're going to see a lot of these guys just risk it.
That could definitely be a strategy. Antonio goes on to the mediums. He falls all the way to 11th. Ghost right behind Dallin McTeer through turn 4. He's pulled up to his gearbox. He looked to the outside in turn 5. Couldn't find a way around him. He'll have to stick behind the NSR car. Got a ton of oversteer at the exit of turn 5. Got a little fishtaily. APPF1 car currently running 7th. Oh, he got really fishtaily out of turn 9, almost onto the gravel. back to the front. Tim Verhoeven, we saw Antonio pit last lap. We assume Tim Verhoeven will pit this lap, and then it's just a question of will the medium tires make it to the end as Lifebout and Gloomy battling for ninth. Lifebout to the inside of Gloomy in turn 13, and he's got the job done. Gloomy on those hard tires, not having a fun time so far. Antonio well behind these guys. Looks like the hard tire strategy for Gloomy hasn't really worked out. Tim Verhoeven on the exit. He's got Antonio by a country mile into turn 1. Antonio will close that gap down a little bit through turn 3. It's about 5 to 10 car lengths as they exit turn 3. Antonio really using these fresh mediums. He's really using them to the maximum of their potential. He's closed the gap down to 2 car lengths through turn 7. That green and red NSR car chasing down Tim Verhoeven. As they exit turn 9, he'll have DRS. He'll use a little bit of that ERS down the back straightaway. He'll look to the inside in turn 10, not close enough. Verhoeven's gonna run wide. Gloomy's around in turn 10. That's gonna leave Lifebout up ahead of them. Super Gaming to the inside of JP down the main straightaway, and Super Gaming has got the job done, and he's through. He now sets his sights on the race leader, Thomas Vink.
Thomas Vink has got a 2-second gap in the meantime when those 2 hard runners were in between him and the rest of the medium runners. There goes Tim Verhoeven now around Lifebout. Leave some space on the inside, but Lifebout's... Yeah, he definitely left space there. Enough space.
He did definitely leave enough space. Lifebout just lost it on the entry of turn 1. So Verhoeven and Antonio. If Vink is gonna pit, you'd think that he'd pit soon. He might go onto the soft tires at the end. That would be an interesting strategy. As we watch back up front, JP running in third. He's the meat in a VRL sandwich currently. Run lap 21 of 33. Antonio trying to close in on Verhoeven. Back for 8th. Vink still the leader by 2.1 seconds. Super Gaming running 2nd, JP running 3rd. Antonio with DRS and ERS. He really closed up to Verhoeven. Verhoeven will force him onto the AstroTurf at the entry of turn 1. Antonio gets the elbows out at the exit of turn 2, but Verhoeven will keep the position for now.
These guys have to watch out when they're flying. They need to be working together to catch up to the rest. They need to be using the new fresh tires, not burning them through by flying like this.
Absolutely. But up front, Ghost is closed in on Dallin McTeer a little bit. Andre Mahatch closing in on JP. We run lap 22 of 33. You gotta start to wonder if these medium tires are starting to not feel so good for these guys. Vink certainly turned some fast laps. Dallin McTeer is in.
Yeah, he's going for a 2-stop.
McTeer is in. He's on the 2-stop. Will he go to softs or mediums? That's the question. Antonio with a 5-second corner cutting penalty. Dallin will go for mediums. So where does this put Tim Verhoeven and Antonio now? They are about, let's do some quick math, 18, 20, 21 seconds behind Thomas Vink. almost 22 seconds behind Thomas Vink. So if Vink is gonna pit, you gotta think he's gonna pit soon before Verhoeven starts closing in on him. You watch Andre Mahach running behind JP. Super Gaming and Thomas Vink still out front.
I think with the teams that have two guys out there, they should just split the strategy. One go for the one stop, one go for the two stop. And see, just one of them's got to work at the end of the day.
One of them certainly does have to work. Vink on 13-lap-old medium tires. I can't see him making it to the end on this set. I could see him pitting in the next 2 laps to put on softs, but I can't see him making it to the end on this set of mediums. You can already kind of start to see the not the cords on the mediums, but the Antonio will get by Tim Verhoeven for 7th. Our 2 leaders still battling back here. Head through turn 4. They're on fresh mediums. They've closed the gap a little bit, maybe 0.4 of a second. But 0.4 of a second isn't going to do it.
That's pretty much all from the DRFs as well, not because of the tire advantage.
Yes. Yes. Now, as Vink has to slow down to make these mediums last, it will become because of the tire advantage.
Yeah.
Vink still out on track along with everybody else. Dallin McTeer, the only guy to pit so far. Andre Mahach will get around JP. They'll go side by side in turn 1. Mahach the outside in turn 2, and he's got the move done quite easily. VRL right now, 2nd and 3rd. Antonio the fastest lap of the race. And that's what you don't want to see if you're Thomas Vink.
Yeah, and if we do also look, Ghost, he's got a little bit more fresher tires than the guys in front. So if anyone's going to try and hang this one out, it's him.
He has quite a gap to Antonio. We run just about 8 laps to go here in Spain. You'd expect Vink to pit soon. If he's gonna pit, he'll box for fresh softs. Try to go to the end on a set of softs. Vink through turns 13, now 14 and 15, this final chicane that will be cut out next year. Vink will continue to trundle around, as will everybody else.
I think with the end so close in sight, I think Thomas Vink is just going to try and hang this one out. There's no way you're gaining back that time you lose on the pit stop in 7 seconds. Even if you're risking a puncture, I think you're just going to have to go for it.
I don't know, we'll have to see. Thomas Vink is certainly quite the strategist. If this works out, it'll be 2 races in a row. Might as well call him Tim Cindric. Antonio leads Tim Verhoeven, trying to charge their way through the field. They've been unsuccessful so far.
Yeah, they've gained just not enough. They are going to keep gaining as the time goes on. They've gained about over a second over the last 4 laps, but now, as the leaders have done 15, 16 laps on these mediums, these tyres are going to start to drop off.
Thomas Vink through turn 12. Will he pit this time? If he doesn't pit this time, I can't imagine he'll come in at all. About 7 laps to go. Vink will stay out, so it looks like these guys are going to try and coax these tires to the end. Dallin McTeer didn't think he could, which is why he came in. Antonio and Tim are not catching the leaders. Will we have a Lewis Hamilton in Britain situation where Vink gets a puncture and tries to go to the end?
I wish this
Still
was a
out.
last lap thing they could have seen.
Yeah.
We'll look at it in the next lap. All the times are looking like 16 laps done on these tires. You can see that Thomas Vink is really taking it cautiously through these corners and trying the best he can to not induce any kind of wheel spin. If anything he does like that, he's gonna just burn more rubber.
You can visibly see the inside of the tires starting to wear. So, you gotta wonder how close he is to getting a puncture. He's taken a lot of curb through these corners. You'd think if he were trying to be safe on these tires, he wouldn't take quite so much curb. He's certainly a lot smoother through that section. Using a little bit of ERS down the main straightaway. Gap down to 20.5 seconds. Looks like Antonio's caught him by about a second this last lap. Antonio's tires begin to wear.
Yeah, the time is going to start calming down now for sure. And you can see how much more aggressive these guys are through the turns. They have no worries about their tires. But now there's only 5 laps remaining. These guys are just going to be begging for that puncture to come through.
Lifebout is in, so Lifebout could not make it on the mediums.
I think he's just going for the softs and the fastest lap. Too far out of the points.
He went for another set of mediums.
Oh.
Which is a strange strategy. Not quite sure what that is, but...
I would show the tire wear if I had the flipping graphic. And I would have to tab out to get it, so I'm not going to do that.
Well, can we at least see the lap times?
Yes. Alright, Thomas Vink's going to cross the line now. He's going to be doing a 20.3.
Thomas Vink nearly a second off his fastest lap. What kind of lap is Antonio going to do?
19.6, so nearly a second on that last lap.
Nearly a second isn't good enough with 4 laps to go. Thomas Vink, 18 laps on these medium tires. Andre Mahatch back there, 19 laps.
It is not looking good for those guys. I think Thomas Vink is going to be able to do it.
I would think Ghost is in the best position of anybody. He's only got 16 laps on these tires, so if these guys ahead get punctures in the next 4 laps, Ghost might be able to make it a little bit farther than these guys.
It will be quite funny to see all those guys in the front 6 just one by one drop off because the tires punctures.
This is one of the more interesting races we've seen. It's a lot like a fuel conservation race where you're not sure if the guys in front can make it. You think they can make it. And then there's guys at the back that are charging that you know can make it. So Antonio gets way squirrely out of turn 15.
Well, he's saying screw it for the race win now. He's just going for this position. This is one that matters now to these guys. They go side by side into turn 1. Antonio trying to go down the inside, but late braking from Tim Verhoeven around the outside manages to get it done.
Great move by Verhoeven. Lap 30 of 33. Vink leads by 2 seconds. Lifebout fastest lap of the race, an 18.3. So you can see the wear on these tires. Vink ran a 20.3 last lap. So Lifebout 2 seconds faster than our race leader. Thomas Vink through turn 13.
And Dallin as well. He's the only one to try the 2-stop. Just did not work out for him.
It didn't quite work out for him, 21.1. That is a very slow lap.
He's lost about nearly a second from his last time.
It didn't work out for Dallin, but it probably would have worked for Thomas Vink. Verhoeven a 19.1, so 2 seconds. Vink was half a second slower in the first sector than his best first sector. As Super Gaming starting to close in, gap down to 1.6 seconds. Super Gaming also has to try and coax these tires to the end.
Yeah, and Andre has no choice but to stay in DRS here because he tries to do anything and those tires are not going to help him out. Ghost is really pushing JP now. He's got two lap fresher tires, so you can see he can take a lot more liberties and he's got a lot more ERS. You see JP's flashing there, he's getting a little squirrely through the long right hand, and now there you go. You see how much more grip he has. Is he going to try and have a look down the inside? He's going to think better of it this time round.
Not really a conventional overtaking spot, which is why Ghost decided to back out. He almost bended into the wall. He had a huge snap of oversteer. As Dallin McTier now right on the back of Antonio. It seems like Antonio's tires have really gone away from him. Antonio is in. So Antonio can't make it to the end. So how in the world has Thomas Vink managed to make it to the end? Gap from Vink to Verhoeven is going to be about 14 or 15 seconds. Antonio will go for the soft tires. I'm guessing he's just going for fastest lap now.
I mean, he's going for fastest lap, but he's dropping down to P11 by doing that. So unless he can catch up to these guys ahead, he's not going to get any points.
Well, there's only one car ahead of him. It's only 1.9 seconds up the road, so I assume he'll be able to catch life out.
I mean, he's sacrificing a few points, or maybe 0 right now. And Thomas Vink, though, he's lost a lot of time to Super Gaming. He's probably really feeling the tires as we're going into the final lap now.
Gap down to 0.8 of a second, and Super Gaming is closing. It's down to 6. It's going to be down to half a second. It'll be under half a second as they head through turn 1. Thomas Vink, the master of strategy so far this weekend. He's got a win in Tier A based on making hard tires last the majority of the race. He's trying to do the same in the 10 Controls Cup. Gap down to 0.4 of a second. Super Gaming is really starting to reel him in. Out of turn 5. Thomas Vink using ERS. He's got none left. So Thomas Vink's really going to be under pressure. Super Gaming will have DRS out of turn 9. Down the back straightaway they go. Super Gaming with DRS. He's closing in on Thomas Vink as we watch Ghost try and get around JP. Super Gaming all over the back end of Thomas Vink. Ghost has successfully gotten by JP. Super Gaming right in the tire tracks of Vink. Through turn 12. He'll take a wide entry through 13. Try and get as much speed out of the final couple corners as possible. Vink around the final corner. It's not going to be enough. To the line. Thomas Vink, the master of strategy, wins in Spain.
He managed to do it. He managed to make those tires last. Thomas Vink, the tire whisperer, the supreme strategist, whatever you want to call him, he's managed it.
Thomas Vink, the supreme strategist. I like that nickname. That's what we're going to call him. As
Whoa.
Lifebout and Gloomy get together, that's the final corner. Not. He didn't make it, to the line.
Well, unlucky. Looks like 10 Controls going to take the dub on this one. VRL though, P2 and P3. Not too shabby.
Thomas Venk will win again. He wins the Spanish Grand Prix. You look at the final results. Venk will win. Super Gaming comes home second. Andre Mahatch third. Ghost fourth. JP fifth. Octavian Arsu sixth. Tim Verhoeven seventh. Dallin McTeer eighth. Who's in ninth?
Gloomy.
Gloomy ninth. Antonio will round out the points.
And that crash at the end just gifted Antonio 2 points. Because he wasn't catching up to him. Oh, at least he wasn't going to overtake him. Well, that's about it for the cup. Next week, we are going to be... I should really look this up before. We're going to be at Singapore. Gonna be an interesting one. Make sure you guys tune in for that one. Later today, we got TB's version of events of Zandvoort, which is going to be fun. And thank you everyone for watching. That was a fun one. I love the strategies there. Got me really thinking.
Strategy was... The strategy was certainly supreme from Thomas Venk.
Thank you everyone for watching. It's going to be goodbye from me, and it's going to be goodbye from Adam.
See ya.
See ya.